Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the monkey feet to train your hip flexors. This exercise is specifically going to target the deep lateral fibers of the hip flexor group, so muscles such as the PSOAS major in external range. For it, we are going to need a flat bench, and we're going to be in supine position, meaning we're going to be laying down on our back. In terms of the setup, what we want to do with the working leg is we want to keep the knee bent, and we want to cross the midline by going into adduction of the femur by crossing the knee past the midline. Then, from this position right over here, we're going to go ahead and lay down on the bench. And then in terms of the actual execution of the exercise itself, what we are going to do is go into hip flexion by driving the knee up toward the sky. And that is the actual execution of the exercise itself. Now we're going to go into a couple of common mistakes. Mistake number one is having the bench too high up. If we have the bench set up to a 45 degree, we're going to be targeting the muscle more in middle range. And if we have it up to 90 degrees, we're going to be targeting the muscle more in internal range. If we want to specifically target the external range of the muscle, we want to be in supine position. That way, when the hip is in full extension, that is when gravity is going to be working hardest. And that is where we're going to be getting most of the recruitment from the actual muscle itself. Then another mistake is not crossing the midline. If we have the leg in line, what's going to happen is we're going to target more of the middle fibers. If we have the leg to the outside, what's going to happen is we're going to be targeting more of the medial fibers of the hip flexor group. If we want to specifically target the lateral fibers of the hip flexors, what we want to do is cross the midline. That way, most of the myofascial tension is going to be on the lateral aspect, and that's going to allow us to recruit more of the lateral fibers of the deep hip flexor muscles. And then one of the final mistakes is picking a weight that is too heavy. You don't want to pick a weight that's too heavy that you have to use momentum to propel yourself up. You want to pick a weight that is appropriate enough that when you're performing the exercise, it allows you to do so by isolating the hip as best as possible. But that is the strengthening exercise for the deep lateral fibers of the hip flexor group in external range, so muscles such as the PSOAS major.